getting shut out on the road against the Carolina Hurricanes, just as we all saw coming, right?
Called it.
Wow. Boy, I'm going to kick it off. Boy, howdy.
Boy. And the wheel of fantasy is collecting dust as we speak.
Literally.
Seriously.
Wow.
Seriously, but the playoff standings on the
Like
other
the people
hand.
that just started watching the show have no idea what the wheel of fantasy is. They don't understand real pain.
They don't
Newcomers.
know the pain. We know the pain of maybe too many wins, but we'll get to that all. Thank you all so much for tuning into the PHNX Coyotes postgame show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah Merrill here with Craig Morgan and Steve Peters, and you guys, what? They had one shot on goal in the first period, and the shot went in. And I guess you shoot to score. It doesn't really matter how many shots on goal you have if they're going in, but of all the games, we did not.
The game on the road trip, I was sure they were going to lose. They
Me
don't play
too.
well in this building. Carolina.
They lost four
comes
their
at you in
previous
waves
four
and-
in this
yeah.
building.
Mhm.
And Carolina's good.
Carolina's really good.
Like, if you take that first period, the microcosm of that first period, shots were 14-1, and we jest that they were ahead 1-0. Shots were 14-1. They had 3 power plays.
36 shot attempts by the Carolina Hurricanes in the first period.
And the turning point of that game for me is in early in their power play, they had a seam pass to Svechnikov, one of their elite offensive players, with an empty net, wide open net. Vejmelka doesn't see the pass across. It's an empty net, and he puts the puck over the net wide. That goes in. This is a completely different game, but guess what? It doesn't. Coyotes get the chance to get their legs underneath them in the second period. They stayed out of the box the remainder of the game. Three in the first they can't do anymore. And they outshot Carolina for the next 2 periods, 25-22 over the next 2. But that first period was an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
But they get out of it 1-0. And credit Veggie for some of that too. They're penalty killing for some of that too. Little lady luck. And they hell of a shot by Schmaltz. And they come out of the period 1-0 after just getting dominated. The rest of the game, honestly, I thought they played with Carolina. It was pretty even. It was an even game.
Yeah.
4-3-1 on this road trip. They're halfway through this road trip, and they're over 500 right now.
That's unbelievable to
What?
me. It is.
Like,
With the teams,
what?
and we thought this would be the downfall of their season. They go, oh boy, this 14-game road trip, it's going to be over. When they come back, they're going to be in last. They're not.
Nope.
Roaring Fork said, I think this just shows the Coyotes play okay in college buildings.
Wow, yeah, it's college basketball. That's right. See,
Oh my gosh, that's a good observation. Well, I mean, we've talked about some of it already. Let's get into the numbers from tonight. But doesn't tell the full story because, like we said, outshot 14-1 in the first period. No, at least they didn't get scored against on the power play this time. It felt like that was happening the last couple games. Again, the power play, although Lawson Crouse's goal came like seconds.
Split second. It really felt like a power play.
It felt like it because I don't think that fifth player was quite back in the play yet when Lawson Crouse's goal went in there. So that was pretty close. And then I think the shot attempts is what really paints the picture of this game. 84 shot attempts by the Carolina Hurricanes to the Coyotes'
2-to-1
42
ratio.
shot attempts. And you felt it, and you especially felt it in that first period. But there were moments, especially when the Hurricanes were on their power play, that they were just, it was an onslaught. And shout out to Veggie and shout out to who you called Lady Luck for a lot of that tonight.
Troy Stetcher, too.
Troy Stetcher, let me give you your flowers for a second. Not only blocked a shot and was keeled over in pain, holding his arm, then blocked a second shot,
With his leg, yeah.
left the game, came back, fought someone. Like, that was a hockey player.
Yeah,
Holy
it sure
moly.
was.
What
Yeah,
a
and
shout
that's-
out Troy Stetcher.
that's what we say about this team, though. It's the difference from this year's team to last year's team is tonight. A year ago, they probably would have been down 5-0 after the first, and then it would have been over. And I'm not pinning that all on the goaltender. I think the team just plays harder, and they don't quit, and they don't give up, and it's somebody different every night. Stetcher makes a big play tonight. Crouse gets 2 goals tonight. Last game was Bjugstad. Somebody different every night is coming up big for this team. They're not relying on Clayton Keller to score every night. Somebody different. And I think that this group is playing as a team, and they're doing it for each other. And when you get a guy blocking shots like Stetcher did, that boosts everybody on the bench. And you see him when he got back to the bench. Like, it does a lot for this team. And I'm telling you right now, you can't count them out in games.
Should we also shout out Lawson Crouse's 40-goal pace right now?
It's
Holy
unbelievable.
shit.
Well, he said he was going to get 30. He sat right here and said it. I'm going to get 30.
Undersold, apparently.
I know. He's crushing it. He now leads the team with 9 goals, which is unbelievable.
What about that contract, though? Isn't he overpaid?
Yeah, boy.
Just saying.
Buddy,
somebody.
Seriously.
Somebody said.
Listen, he's got a few empty netters, right? But who cares?
It doesn't matter. A goal's a goal.
They don't ask how. They ask how many, Craig.
Empty netters are important, too. They put games away. So he's got 6, that aren't empty netters. So
Yeah. Another fun stat that we heard on the broadcast tonight, which I guess now it would go up, but 5 of his 9 goals this season have come in the third period. So that's significant, too.
For sure.
You're in it till the end. Like we said, this team sticking together and staying around till the end, that's what they've done. And they didn't, Nick Schmaltz came back last game, then got on the score sheet this game, which is great to see because they need him to score goals and have assists. He's on that top line for a reason. So that shot, by the way, was an unbelievable shot too. That wasn't a fluke goal at all.
He looked pretty good since he came back.
He looked good.
Yeah, looked good. And while we're talking about the 2 guys that came back, we'll talk about Schmaltz. Great goal. Showed some speed, and the offensive zip is there. But I'm going to talk about Chychrun, a guy that I sometimes am fairly harsh on. He's +3 tonight. And remember how last year Chychrun was in the minus leader of this team? Yep. +3 tonight. He had more shot attempts than anybody on the ice tonight. He had 10 shot attempts tonight, 6 on net. He's trying. Like his offense, he clearly got involved on the power play. You saw him taking his one-timer from that spot off the right circle. I think he's trying to get involved in the offense. And coming away from this game +3 for his second game back after that long break for his injury, I think that's great signs for Jakob Chychrun and where he can go with this team offensively. And if he wants to go, it's got to put numbers on the board.
Yeah, and you can tell he was in it tonight. And that honestly, that top line of Keller, Schmaltz, Boyd with Chychrun and Gostisbehere on defense, like when they were out on the ice, they were especially holding their own with a fast team like the Hurricanes. And, that's just one flash of this team that's toward the bottom of the standings. But when they're on the ice, they look fast. They look good. So it's exciting to see that glimmer, and good for Chychrun having a good game tonight, I think we can say. And hopefully it's a matter of time before he gets on the stat sheet.
And I think what happened too is you saw that we talked about the first power play unit adding 2 new bodies and shuffling Gostisbehere up to the top. I think last game, they really looked disjointed. I don't think they looked like they clicked last game. Tonight against Carolina, you saw, especially in the third period, where they were getting opportunities. And actually, there were a few times I thought it was going in the net, and it didn't. But they were moving the puck much better as a 5-man unit, and they had better scoring chances than they did in the last game. I think that bodes well for where this power play is going in the future, because you saw the second group still getting it together, and we thought that was a power play goal by Crouse just a few seconds too late. But I think that second group, because they played together more, I think they had that chemistry, but I thought the first group was much, much better tonight.
Well, and then at the beginning of that third period, when they had the last minute or so of that power play, holy crap, they were on the net, like shot after shot. They were right there. Do you have thoughts?
On the power play?
Or power play, Chychrun?
Yeah, I mean, I want to see what Jakob Chychrun can do over a longer period of time. I thought he took a big step tonight over his first game. A lot of people are watching it. I wonder what that's like for a player too, when there are just a jillion scouts in the building specifically to watch you because they're considering trading for you. It's got to put pressure on them, but maybe you're used to it at this point. You're used to being observed by a lot of people, but it literally is for that specific reason. They are focused on you. And
every play matters. Like you can't make a mistake on a rush read. You can't make a bad play in the defensive zone. I know when we think of Jakob Chychrun, we always think of the offense first, and you think of his one-time shot and his ability to add to the offense. But he's a defenseman. You got to be able to defend. You got to be able to read the rush, and you got to be able to be a tough body in the corner. And you got to be able to do those things on the defensive side too. And that's where in the past, where he's made those mistakes. And that's why he ends up on the big minus side of the plus minus. So I think even more so than him adding offense, he has to be a guy that doesn't get beat egregiously. And you're right. Every time he steps over the boards, he's got to be thinking, I've got to do everything right this shift. And that does have to add pressure, but it only helps the team. The better he is, the better it is for the Coyotes right now. And it's better for the Coyotes long term in adding assets. So it's good to see him participating on the team again and being a part of this team. And the better he plays is only better for this team.
Yep. And he did have an assist on the Crouse empty net goal. So he did find the stat sheet tonight, which, hopefully it's just the first domino to fall in him getting back involved. Hopefully we see Chychrun doing what Gostisbehere was doing to start the season. Yeah. We got a super chat from John. Thank you so much, John. Said happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, John.
Happy Thanksgiving, John. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you here in the chat. We have a special Thanksgiving audio episode dropping tomorrow, so you can listen to that while you're cooking or just spending time by yourself with your family.
Gather around with the kids, because everyone wants to tune into that one.
Said, gather around your radio. Listen to us attempt to
We have ideas. We have lots of ideas.
But I wanted to... We've talked about Schmaltz and Crouse and Chychrun, but someone we didn't talk about, who we spoke a lot about the other day, is your boy, Nick Bjugstad. And earlier in the chat, Sterling had said, I think Boogie, and then in parentheses, a bona fide goal scorer.
For sure. Streak.
Is enjoying playing in front of his dad. And you know what? Maybe he is.
Goals in both games with his dad there. Maybe they should bring him along on the next trip.
Holy moly.
Keep him up. Dads are all flying home tomorrow on Thanksgiving. By the way, how do you sell that to the people at home?
I was wondering about that too. Like,
you think they don't stay for the
No,
meal?
they're flying home tomorrow. Yeah.
Well,
flying out of Carolina, and the team's flying on to Detroit. So the dads are staying overnight to Carolina.
Anyway, but
I think
Nick Bjugstad on
Bjugstad's on a streaker right now. Of course. Yeah, I'm telling you. And he's heading back to Minnesota. Just saying. I don't know. DraftKings anytime. Point guy on Sunday. But you know what? He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's helping. He's helping not just on the offensive side of the puck, but playing with Crouse. I thought they had much better puck possession the last 40 minutes of the game, and that's what his job is to do: get the pucks to the net and get his body to the net. And I think that's how he's been able to have some success offensively. And even if he doesn't, as long as he's providing quick on the forecheck, turning pucks over in the offensive zoning, delivering pucks to the net, that's what you're asking of Nick Bjugstad.
While we're on UPD, let's look at your keys from today and see how the Coyotes did. Go for it.
Well, the first one, the breakouts, getting out of the zone. If you watch the first period, they didn't. It's like in youth hockey when you're playing with 6-year-olds, you throw an extra puck out so the other team can play too. I was kind of hoping they would do that for the Coyotes, so they could maybe let the Coyotes play too. So the first period was red rotten on getting out. After that, they were good. Turnovers,
red rotten.
Again, it was just the first period. Turnovers again. You can't get out of your zone against Carolina. Carolina smothers you offensively, and they did that through the first period. Last 40 minutes, they were much, much better at that. They got pucks off the glass instead of up the middle. And when they did do up the middle, they turned it over again. Limit the shots.
Not in the first.
Not in the first again. Again, the first period, they did not follow the keys. But guess what? They did the next 40. And I think you survived. On the road games, you try to survive. And they survived the first period. And they know they got their ass kicked in the first. They know it. They go in the locker room. They see the score sheets. They know what happened, and they survived it, and they came back out, and I thought they were much, much better the last 40. Yeah. So did they follow the keys for 60? No, but they did for 40.
And I think it's better that they had that tough first and then came back and responded from that rather than the other way around where you start really well and then you take your foot off the gas.
But is that what they did last year, Leah?
Like taking their
remember the second period last year?
The second period was
a disaster.
This year, it's been the other way around, that the first has been harder for this team and the second has been better, and that's good because you want to see how the team responds to adversity, or, if they're going to just kind of give up on themselves. And they've never done that, even when they were down 3-0 after 5 minutes. Like, they always fought. They've been fighting hard. There's been only a few games that I feel like it's been shitty performances, but kudos.
No, they ramp up. This team just is going to have to find a way to start better, but they ramp up. And last year it was the opposite. You just go, even they could be up by 2 and you go, oh no, something bad's going to happen. And they would start to go like this. At least this way you go, oh my gosh, even down 3, they find a way to battle back into the game. They're down 3-1 the other night and they battle back into the game. I tell you what, I tell you that there's a different vibe in this locker room. And I honestly, shame on me, I thought it was going to go the other way this year with guys like Roussel out of the locker room, Ladd out of the locker room, Beagle, Strahlman. I thought that veteran core that they had a year ago, I thought that was going to make the locker room a little more disjointed. What's happened this year? Keller.
Yep, the middle core.
Fisher, Crouse, that middle core that we talked about, they stepped up. And I really believe that's been the difference this season.
And they're going to evolve to become the veteran leadership of this group. I know they're young. They're 24,
I mean,
25.
I kind of feel like they are now. I feel like they're grabbing that mantle. And they are the
it's
leaders
crazy
of this team
that
now.
at that age you can be considered a veteran in the NHL, but considering how young the league is and how short the shelf life of players is, they are that. And in a few years, we spoke to Logan Cooley yesterday, which, by the way, if you haven't watched or listened to that, check that out. But in a few years, when it's the Logan Cooleys, Dylan Guenther, Bedard or Fantilli, whichever one lands here, it's going to be Crouse and Keller and them that are the veterans in that locker room with those young guys. So it's exciting to think about. Speaking of that, Guenther did have an assist on that Bjugstad goal. He was back in the lineup tonight after being scratched last game. And then quietly, too, tonight, Gostisbehere 2 assists. We've talked a little bit about him quieting down from his hot starts. So good to see him.
And Guenther gets an assist on the Crouse goal, too. So Guenther has 2 assists.
Oh, he did?
For the night. Yeah. So he finishes with 2 tonight. So he's... I mean, the young guys are producing like you want them to. And we talked about, speaking of another young guy, with Guenther coming in after sitting out. We sat out last game. He comes back into this game, gets 2 points. And people I know were shaking their heads when they saw Michelli come out of the lineup tonight. But we talked about it on the show. His game has been slipping a little bit. And I think you'll see him back in the game. I would assume you're going to see him back in Detroit. Maybe not because they got to win. They won 4-0, so you might keep the same lineup. But when he gets an opportunity to get back in, that's what Guenther did. Guenther sat out. Comes back in and he provides offense. Michelli's going to be fine. He's going to sit out some games. They got to have guys sit out games because they have 23 guys.
Well,
so
and beyond
it was
that,
his
too,
turn.
you talked about the value of it, too, for a young guy. They haven't played a lot of games, like you said. It can be valuable just to sit up and take stock. Okay, you watch the game for a moment and see, here's the things that I'm missing. It basically just recharges the batteries and refocuses you. It can be good for a young player not to just go game after game after game. They're not used to this. So, again, don't freak out that Matias Michelli's out of the lineup for a couple games here. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, and we saw Guenther sit and then came back and have 2 assists. Yep. So
exactly
good things.
And he'll get, whether it gets into next game or Minnesota or not till the homestand, he's going to play. Yep. Like Michelli's a part of what's going on here in the future and part of the rebuild. He's going to play. So don't worry.
Yeah, the rest is good. Well, I want to get to goaltending in a second. But before we do, I want to tell you how you can win some money on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, which I hope you did not watch PHNX Bets Daily and take Sean's Carolina Hurricanes bet tonight.
But if you took my Buffalo Sabres bet, you made some shmoney because the Sabres are wagon. The wheels are back on.
The wheels are back on the wagon.
The wheels are back on the wagon. But if you did bet on the Coyotes tonight, I'm sure you won some good cash. You can also bet on exact scores and shutouts and all of that. There's player props. You could have bet on a Veggie shutout. It was his 2nd of the season, his 3rd career shutout. It probably doesn't happen that often, but if you happen to think of it tonight, again, probably won some good money. There's tons of football on tomorrow, which is fun for Thanksgiving. So if you want to win some money there, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use that promo code PHNX. Place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game. Get $150 in free bets if they do. That's only at the DraftKings Sportsbook app with code PHNX. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And then I'm putting him on the spot. I did not tell him this, but I already know you have it locked and loaded, Sean.
Yeah, I'm going
to ask you for your DraftKings pick of the week. I already know what it is, but
do the Bills play tomorrow?
The Bills play tomorrow.
The Bills do play tomorrow
at the Detroit Lions. Just 4 days removed from them beating a different team in Detroit Stadium. The Bills are back. The wheels are back on that wagon as well. As I've told you many times, no one, and I mean absolutely no one, circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. So my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week is Buffalo Bills -9 against the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day.
There you go.
All right, there you have it. There you have it. So you win some money on DraftKings. If you don't want to bet on football or hockey, you could always bet on soccer and the World Cup, which is going on right now.
Does Buffalo have a team in the World Cup?
Any Buffalo representation on Team USA?
Probably not. But Kristen Pulisic is from Pennsylvania, and it's close to New York.
There's probably players on Team Canada that are closer to Buffalo.
Very true.
But if you want to take in some soccer, I'm sure a lot of people have work off this week on Friday and obviously the weekend after the holiday. Come hang out at Four Peaks. It's been amazing vibes at all of the the viewing parties at Four Peaks for all of the U.S. and Mexico World Cup matches. The next U.S. match is on Black Friday. The festivities start at 11 a.m. There's beer specials, giveaways, guest appearances, $3 kit lifter and Wow Wheat pints, and it's that 22-foot screen, that massive screen to watch the game. The vibes could not be more immaculate. And then the Mexico-Argentina game is Saturday at 11 a.m. So you can register for your tickets in our description below. Make sure you do that because it's been filling up really fast. You want to get up next to that
That's
TV.
a big game. That's a big game.
The
Argentina
yeah.
losing to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I mean, after that loss, this might be one of your last chances to ever see Lionel Messi play in the World Cup. So,
wow. So yeah, it's been
Same
super
with Momo
fun.
Ochoa.
The vibes at Four Peaks are. I think I'm gonna be there on Saturday too if you're there and want to say hi. And as always, when you do drink, you must be 21 or older. And
So
enjoy
you tell me you
responsibly.
guys are going to drink before you come to the ASU game? Is that what's happening?
I didn't say that.
it takes about an hour for a drink to get through you, right? If
Maybe
you're
we'll
drinking
walk.
responsibly.
Maybe we'll walk to
Maybe
It's not
Mullet
what
from
science
Four
says,
Peaks.
but
Maybe
yeah.
we'll walk to Mullet from Four Peaks.
yeah, walk it off. That,
Yeah.
you could
I
do
mean,
that,
it's
yeah.
the game is early, or the
Stumble
World
it off.
Cup game's early, the hockey game's late.
As a nap time.
That's plenty. That's plenty.
Plenty of
Exactly.
that time,
Exactly. Well, I think we should crown our DraftKings King of the Game
Pretty obvious tonight,
without
huh?
further ado, and it's King Veggie, as it says. 36 save shutout. I mean, he was unbelievable tonight. Had a few crazy saves. He did what he needed to do and earned his second shutout of the year, third of his career, like we said.
Second in the last 4 games, too.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy. I didn't think about that because Conor Timmins had played in there, so it feels
Conor
longer
Timmins?
ago.
Hmm.
Conor Timmins. Oh,
Connor Timmins played?
I literally looked at the note and read Conor Timmins.
Yeah,
I meant
Connor
Connor
Ingram.
Ingram. We'll get to Conor Timmins in a couple
Yeah,
minutes.
I thought you were segueing here.
No, I'm not ready to segue. I want to talk about Veggie for a bit.
Veggie.
Yeah, and he's another guy that I'm harsh on at times. The only play that I thought he was out of place, I mean, there was maybe one graze the post, but that was that play on the power play, and it's not his fault. He doesn't see the pass because there's so much traffic in front of the net, and he just didn't see the seam play. I thought he played extremely well, and some of the saves he made in the second period with his leg out stretch, the 2 and 3 in a row, I thought he was fantastic again.
Still chasing a little bit of consistency in this game, right? He's not there yet. We'll have games where he's off. We can see he's off. So, but it's hard. It's hard with this team. I mean, again, 84 shot attempts tonight. 84 shot attempts. That's hard.
But here's the next
You
thing.
can't do that every night.
Craig, though, but last year, remember when he was inconsistent last year,
Yeah.
but there would be stretches where he's really good, and then he'd play again and play again
Yeah.
and play again and play again. And we'd sit here and say, "Oh, they gotta play somebody else," and they didn't.
At least
With-
they're doing that now.
With Ingram,
Not Timmins.
we'll see if Ingram can get into the net again. I mean, clearly he's not going to play in Detroit,
Right.
because you're coming off a 36 save shutout. You're going to play again. Like, he's going to play in Detroit. But I think the key to him has been when he plays that 4th or 5th one in the row. We talked about statistically last year, that's when he kind of fell off.
Yeah.
So maybe if Ingram can be a guy that can carry the load, much as Veggie did last year once Veggie came in here in relief, maybe that can help Veggie get some consistency in his game. And again, he's still the second year in North America. It does take time. So it's something we're not even 20 games into this season yet. So he's got to get that consistency for all of us to go, yeah, we're completely on the Veggie train. But if he plays like this, it's a great start.
Would you trade him at the
Well,
deadline?
that's the funny thing because in the Discord tonight during the game, people were saying, like, I don't want to trade Veggie because when a player starts to play really well, you start to think, oh, what can we get for him? You know,
Right.
It's hard not to think that way. And some people in the Discord were saying, no, I don't want Veggie to leave. I want Veggie to stay. I don't think we're ready to say that he's a, NHL starting goalie on the levels of
Well, he's not
Andre
Shesterkin.
Vasilevsky.
No.
But
I saw
also,
there was a question in the Discord. Would you rather have the first overall pick
no, it was
or
finished 32nd.
or have Veggie?
And some people said had
finished
Veggie,
32nd.
but we
That's
think
crazy to me.
32nd.
That's crazy to me.
But here's
Or
the
Craig and
last
I
thing I'll
do.
say about that.
Not
This
speak
is
for
great.
everyone.
Veggie's keeping him in games. He's done it for 2 years now. They've won games they probably wouldn't have if he didn't play.
Mhm.
There's absolutely no question about it. And so I see his value there. We all sit here realistically and go, this team is not a playoff team this year, next year, potentially the year after. Guess what? By then, Veggie won't be here. That's 5 years down the road. The likelihood of Veggie still being here, I think, is slim. Not impossible, but slim. And if he is, and this team's ready to win a Stanley Cup, is it Karel Vejmelka? I don't know. I don't know.
It'd be hilarious if it was.
It'd be great if it is.
amazing.
But
Can you
if you can
imagine?
improve your team for the future and the long haul by moving a piece like that, and think of this, Coyote fans. Think of how many goalies have come in here and played extremely well and then left. And then you find another one.
Yeah, and also think about how many goalies are able to sustain a high level of play for a long period of time. It's a handful of guys.
Mike Smith gets him to the Western Conference Finals in 2012, and half the fan base couldn't wait to get him out of here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And guess what? Dubnyk was lights out here after getting pulled from the American League to come here. He was lights out, gets traded for assets so Kemper could play more and helps them win. Kemper, backup goalie, plays lights out. He goes wins the Stanley Cup somewhere else. Brizgalov claim off waivers.
Yep.
This is
Gets
where
his team to the
goalies come to
playoffs.
thrive.
It is. So just
It's goalie university.
I don't know who it is, but there will be another one because there always is. There's one area here that this franchise has always seemed to do, be able to find that goalie. If it's not Vejmelka, and maybe it will be, maybe he will be here in 5 years, getting him through the tunnel of this rebuild. But guess what? If it's not, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Because they said the same thing in New York Rangers about Henrik Lundqvist. Oh, what are we going to do if Lundqvist retires? Well, guess what? Shesterkin's all right. You'll be fine. Okay.
That's an extreme example, but yeah.
And also the way the goaltending landscape is in the NHL right now, there's a handful of a few elite goalies, but otherwise it's kind of a crapshoot with everybody else.
It's like 2 or 3.
Look at all the
elite
games
goalies that have-
preseason.
it's
Literally,
crazy.
like
Thatcher Demko is going to be lights out. Oh, he's going to be unreal. Jack Campbell, oh boy, he's going to be
I
unbelievable.
thought that when I was drafting my fantasy hockey team. Didn't exactly go that way.
Matt Murray's
so-
going to come back, and he's going to be unbelievable in Toronto. Ooh.
Yeah, that was a weird,
Marc-Andre Fleury's going to have a
bet.
resurgence in Minnesota. Ooh, maybe not.
And then you're going to think, oh, Logan Thompson can't carry Vegas. And then look at him. So it's just like you really
don't know.
You really don't know. So good for Veggie tonight. He's our king. And good for his confidence.
Exactly.
And to have his, like I've said it a few times, but his third career shutout, but now 2 in a short span.
Yeah.
If that, for goaltenders, it's a lot of the mental game and it's a lot about confidence. So I'm happy for
And I
him.
don't think, and I'll go on record today, and so means he'll probably get traded tomorrow. I don't think he is a near threat in the short term to get traded. I don't believe that he is.
Neither do I.
So I don't want to panic people saying that they can let him go now.
No.
Right now, today. Now, the trade deadline is a long way away. Like the landscape is going to change. Yeah, I know it's going to go off right now. The landscape is going to change so much by the trade deadline. We'll reassess it then. But right now, they're not trading Karel Vejmelka in the next week. So everything's fine.
Nope.
You can go ahead and get another shutout. It's fine.
They're not
Although
they're not
the
trading,
standings.
They're not trading Karel Vejmelka, but they did make a trade today.
That they did. We had hinted that something was going to have to happen with Conor Timmins. His conditioning stint with Tucson ended today. So they had to make a decision. You either have to bring him back to the NHL club, put him on the roster, or put him on waivers to send him down to Tucson because he's not waivers exempt. That's what they wanted to do. The Coyotes really feel that Conor Timmins, because of all his injuries and his lack of playing time over the last few seasons, needed to just play a lot of games in the AHL. He needed that time. He needed the minutes. He needed the situation. And he needed to be away from pressure because it's not even fair to judge him on the body work he had with the Coyotes. He played 8 games. But let's face it, he wasn't very good in the 8 games. He wasn't very good in his conditioning stint either, by all reports. So it felt like he needed to play games at that level. But in spite of that, they knew if we waive him, somebody's going to claim him. There are teams, we've talked about this all season, there are teams that have been decimated on their blue line. And the Toronto Maple Leafs are one of those teams. And so you work out a trade. And listen, the acquisition you made he's not an NHL player. I'm sorry to disappoint all of you if you're thinking maybe this guy can make his way to the NHL. Maybe he can as a 13th or 14th forward. He's an enforcer for Tucson. That's why he's there.
6'9".
Yeah, 6'9".
Holy
He's Boko Imama's replacement right now, right in Tucson. They need that physical presence. I don't think he's going to be an NHL player. Maybe he'll, like I said, he could be an extra, a call up, but they had to get something, I guess. But this is not an easy one for me. A lot of injuries, obviously, that have limited the ability of him to develop and the ability of the Coyotes to evaluate what they have. They don't know what Conor Timmins is. Nobody does. But when you look at this team's pipeline, particularly on the blue line, it's really hard to understand giving up on a 24-year-old big right-handed defenseman. Really, you couldn't bring him in and let him play in the NHL for a little while? Just and I know, Peter, you had mentioned, they sort of blocked his way with some of the moves that they made as well, but it feels like you should have created the opportunity to evaluate him if you wanted to see what you had in Conor Timmins.
It's hard because I kept hearing from everybody in Colorado, including all the people at the DNVR show, oh, this Conor Timmins, you're going to love him. Guess what? I didn't. And I don't know if I didn't because he played 8 games with no points. For an offensive defenseman, I know he got hurt a lot, but is he Brendan Gormley? He's a guy that, he's going to get better. He's going to be better. He needs to change David Rundblad. He just needs to change the scenery. He just needs to get better. He's going to just give him time. Well, maybe not. 24, I know is not, he's still young, but 24 isn't that young anymore. I would have expected to see glimpses or sprinkled in of, wow, I saw that burst. I didn't see it in training camp this year. I said he looked slow. I didn't think he skated very well.
I didn't see it at all.
And so he gets in those games and gosh, I don't know. And you kept waiting for it to happen. And I understand he was hurt and I understand the injuries. I just never saw that little spark that I was hoping to see that, let's give this guy a chance. Do I think they lose him for free through waivers? I do. I really do. And Toronto probably picks him up and
going on.
They probably heard that they're somebody else moving out in the middle of the night. But he's a guy that they probably were going to lose for free anyway, and I really believe that. There's no room for him here. He's not going to play, so he can't develop if you're not playing. You've already got, we talked about this, you bring in Nemeth, Brown, and Stetcher, veteran defensemen that you are planning to play ahead of him. Okay, there's no room for him, so you can't have him as your 7th or 8th D, does you absolutely no good there. Can't develop, can't play. You need him in the American League where he could play. If I send him down, somebody's going to claim him because, again, there's this perceived value because he was drafted high that he is something that I have yet to see him do. I haven't seen it yet. And when Colorado let him go, Colorado's a pretty damn good hockey team, and they see what their talent is.
They had depth on their blue line, too.
They have so many guys that played ahead of him.
They could afford that in a trade, but you're right. There were guys ahead of him. And, I mean, I don't think Patrick Nemeth and Josh Brown were brought here to be ahead of Conor Timmins. I don't. Patrick Nemeth, I didn't even expect to play, to be honest. And I thought Josh Brown was going to be their extra, like their 7th D. So I thought Timmins would play. But then, again, he gets hurt. And you just don't know what you have. I don't know how you evaluate this guy. But again, I didn't see any signs of what people had talked about.
I don't want to see what Chris's point. Can he keep him in the AHL? They can. But they have to clear waivers and send him down, and every team can put a claim in on him for free. And
that would have happened.
And we speculation it would have happened, and somebody gets him for free. So Bill Armstrong does the next best thing. But here's the next piece, and don't discount this yet. They bring in Douglas to do what he's supposed to do down in Tucson. Toronto picked up a defenseman because they have injuries. They need help today.
3 top guys out
right now. They need help. Somebody to play tomorrow night. They need help.
Yeah.
Guess what? Those guys come back.
Yeah.
And if Conor Timmins hasn't elevated his game and he hasn't improved, they're going to try to send him down to the Toronto Marlies. And the second they send him to the Toronto Marlies, guess who gets first up on that list?
It's going to be the lowest teams.
It's going to be Arizona.
In the standings.
Arizona's going to get him back. And you could potentially see between now and the trade deadline, Conor Timmins come back to the Arizona Coyotes.
Be crazy, huh?
I
could genuinely
don't
see
say no.
Yeah, never say never. I totally like the way the whole situation has been laid out in the sense that they wanted to see him more in Tucson. He would have gotten claimed. If he's going to get claimed, you might as well get something in return for him. But to get a player in return, like we said, it's very unlikely he's going to, play in the Coyotes lineup. If he proves us wrong, we'll eat our words. But I know both of you have said, I didn't really see much from him, but he only played 8 games. And somebody in the chat earlier had said they saw him play in Tucson and he didn't look that great. But it's just, for me, it's too small of a sample size.
It is.
And for a team that's investing in the future, I don't understand why you wouldn't have just let that trial run a little bit longer. And then if you do want to trade him for something, then go ahead and do it. And I'm not listening. I'm not questioning Bill Armstrong's decision here because, I see all the reasonings for this. I just players have bad stretches of games, and I just don't think 8 games with the Coyotes is enough of a sample size to evaluate what he could have done here. And the other thing too, and people in the chat also are saying this, he's made of glass. He had a season-ending injury last year. He had a long injury to start this year. And, for Toronto, they're taking a huge gamble. They have blue line injury issues, and if they get him and the next game he gets injured, they're screwed. But yeah. I get that's a big part of it, that he has all these injury problems. I just feel like he didn't get enough of a shot here.
Yeah, he definitely didn't get a shot. I mean, you can't say he did playing 8 games, but I wonder what was the alternative? Do you put him on the NHL roster and play him, as a third pair guy? Does he develop that?
But why not let him have the chance to do that and earn his
But that's they may think you're not playing enough minutes, you're not in situations, you're not getting the chance to develop in that situation because you're not getting the minutes or the situation. So if you go down to the AHL and you're playing like 22, 23 minutes a game and you're playing special teams and you're getting all that, that's when you develop the confidence and the ability to play in all those situations. So I get it from a development standpoint that the role, the position may not have been here for him in the NHL. So how do you develop a guy when you can't play him in those situations? And how do you build his confidence? Like if he's a third pair guy and he's not ready, if you really don't believe he belongs in the NHL right now and he's going to get exposed, that shatters a guy's confidence too. So it's tough. There's so many things to consider.
Well, one more
situation.
The immediate problem is Kassian comes off of IR today and they had 24 players.
Yeah.
The immediate problem is by game time today, they needed to lose a player.
Yeah, and that was a lot sooner.
So someone's going to Tucson that they don't want to go to Tucson, or they need to make this deal. Wait, do you send Michelli down?
No, but you could have put Dyson Mayo on waivers.
Dyson Mayo,
yeah.
I get it.
Nemeth, yeah.
But that's where it came down to. It came down to they needed to clear up a roster space to get Zach. If Kassian doesn't come off the IR today, I don't think they make this deal today. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that imminent. They had to make room for Kassian today. So I think that really sped up this process. And you know what? Bill Armstrong, I said all along, he's trying to get assets. And this was a move he could make and get an asset. And I still believe that Conor Timmins doesn't finish the season in Toronto.
Yeah, I could see that happening without a doubt. I mean, but what does he go to another team that still looks at the pedigree, right?
And then when will it be finally? Well, maybe it's not the guy.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you're close to that point, right? He's 24, like you said.
He needs to play at least half.
Do we remember who we got for Gormley in the Gormley trade? It was another first-round defenseman that they got from Colorado that they both needed to change spots, and they both liked each other for a week, and you go, oh, well, no, then you don't. And I don't want to say that to Timmins yet, but at some point, you're going to have to see what everybody said they saw in him. At some point, you're going to have to see that. And it might be in the American League.
Yeah. And Leah mentioned this as well. You have to worry about the injury history at this point, right? Concussion history, knee injury last year, knee injury and a neck injury this year. It's got a lot going on.
And on top of that, you've talked about how thin the cupboards are for defense at the Arizona Coyotes in the long term after the rebuild. It is something that they need to address, I think, pretty seriously in this upcoming draft.
Now, yeah, exactly.
Like they got Lamoureux and Maverick Lamoureux in the first round this year. He's a big guy, but again,
Artem Duda too, who they're really excited about.
So there are some, but if you look at their defense right now, the younger ones, if you look at Chychrun, is not probably part of this future. Right. I think JJ Mosier is. I think JJ Mosier is the guy that can be here through the rebuild. And then the only young guy you look at, Dyson Mayo, is Dyson Mayo a guy that they will be hanging on to through the rebuild? And I don't know.
Juuso Välimäki, still too soon to say what he is.
And you know what? Is Soderstrom down in Tucson? So I think defense is going to be an area that they need to address immediately in this year's draft.
Yeah. After they draft Bedard or Fantilli.
Right. Yeah, don't. Yeah. With the first overall pick, the Coyotes take a defense. What? No.
That would be insane. Nick said, hit the like button for the Stetcher blocks. Yes. Everybody, while you're here watching, please hit that like button on this YouTube video. And poor Stetcher, I hope that he gets to sit back and relax today, recline, and hopefully he has some more furniture when he finally comes home to Arizona, which will be eventually. But it seems like this road trip is starting to feel like forever. But I'm excited because we got some more furniture at the house I'm going to for Thanksgiving tomorrow. Can't think of a better way
to... You going to Sean's house?
No, Sean will not be disturbed tomorrow.
Sean's been invited to like 7 parties and declined
It's
all.
so
of them.
true. It's so true.
Yeah.
But if
I'm a
you
hot
want
commodity,
to get
just like more
comfortable
furniture.
for Thanksgiving, check out More Furniture, and they have a Black Friday sale going on this Friday. You can save up to 50% at your local Arizona More Furniture showroom. Check out morefurniture.com to preview daily deals all this week leading up to Black Friday. And if you need a little bit of money to spend on your More Furniture, maybe you can earn that money on Underdog Fantasy. And there's actually an unbelievable promotion going on right now on Underdog for Thanksgiving. Right now, all users, new and current, can take advantage of this one-time offer and a 100 times boost.
What?
Not a 5 times, not a 10 times.
100 times.
100
boost.
times. So this is what you do.
What do I got to do?
Make a pick 5 entry.
Okay, I can do that.
So the higher or lower on Dak Prescott passing yards.
Okay.
Step 2, enter a $1 max. $1.
Okay.
That's a perfect weenie bet. Step 3, if all 5 of your picks hit, win $100. Win $100 off of $1.
$1?
Dak Prescott yards are subject to change, and Dak is the only NFL pick needed, so this boost can be paired with other picks outside of Thanksgiving Thursday. So you can do Dak Prescott and then, Clayton Keller's shots on Friday, or you can mix it with hockey, soccer.
But I have to have Dak Prescott.
But you have to have Dak Prescott
And I need to do it before the Thanksgiving game tomorrow.
passing yards.
Okay.
Yes. So go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app, sign up with the promo code PHNX, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. So if you do that, the dollar you put down could be a dollar that Underdog matched you for. So I can't think of a better way to get your day started tomorrow than putting that pick 'em down on Underdog. I think I'm going to go for it.
I'm in. I didn't know about it.
For sure
but I'm
in. And if you do this promo, you can share it, send it in the Discord or on Twitter, and we'll see how many people win $100. Would love to hear your success stories.
Weenie bet.
Yep. So we've talked about Conor Timmins. We talked about the game. Before we look ahead, are there any other notes from tonight's game or the events of today? I guess we didn't really mention that Valimaki and Brown are day-to-day with an injury. I don't know if we have any further updates on that. But
That's all we know right now. But
day-to-day,
it's
so
it's nothing serious.
But it's ironic that the one time he dressed 12 forwards and 6 defensemen rather than 11 forwards and 7 that Coach Tourigny has been doing a lot this season. Stetcher looked like he wasn't going to come back, and we're thinking, oh my God, they're only going to have 5 defensemen in this game.
Not that it would have mattered because they were going to boat race Carolina anyway.
I mean,
wow.
Just like
we all picked that.
Just as we all picked. But any other notes?
Yeah, there are 2 things I want to say. Let's see if Bjugstad can continue with it for this 3rd straight, so he can go into Minnesota for his 4-game scoring streak on Sunday. I'd love to see that. Going home for that.
Coming into Minnesota.
And the power play not scoring today.
People have a parade for him as he comes in.
They might.
They should. Caesar. Yeah,
they might wait till the snow melts. But
by the way, Nick Bjugstad, traditionally really, really bad against the Wild. He has 3 points in his career against in 15 games against the Wild.
So we're gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit him then. For sure, I'm going to hit him on the anytime points. But then the other thing to look at from tonight that's going to carry over in Detroit is this is the 3rd consecutive game where the power play was unable to get a goal. It's the longest streak this power play has gone the entire season without scoring.
You know why? Because you and I wrote about him.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't let them know that because they won't let you write about him anymore. So look for them. I thought they moved the puck better today. I thought the power play looked better. I thought both units were threatening to score. So I would look for the power play to be a factor in Detroit. And I think they get back on the board on Detroit on Friday.
On the flip side of the Bjugstad stat, Jacob Chychrun has 7 points in 7 career games against the Detroit Red Wings.
So that might be a fun thing to throw into your
there's the keys to the game.
Remember,
right
that's
there.
where he came back from his first injury right when he signed the big contract. He signed the contract and played in Detroit. That was his
the
comeback
Coyotes
game.
rolled over Detroit.
Not in that game.
No,
but I like that. I like that.
In that one
they
game.
check anytime.
See,
Chychrun's last game in Detroit was a 3-point performance.
There you go. Chychrun's last game, 3 points. Anytime score.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it.
DraftKings. So
did you see?
Where's Nick Bjugstad from?
Anyone? Who knows?
So let's take a look at the upcoming schedule because, man,
more than halfway through this road trip now.
Woo!
6 games left. It's not that big a deal.
Detroit,
right?
Friday, Sunday, Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
Then that segment's over. They'll come home for a couple of days
Mhm.
before doing the rest in the West.
Mm-hmm.
You
They'll
know
come
what I
home
don't-
for the Tempe City Council vote.
True. That's Tuesday
That's
the
Tuesday?
29th.
Yep.
You know what I don't like on this? That 8:30 p.m.
Oh,
LA Kings start on
Have I mentioned I don't like
Thursday.
Mountain Time?
buddy.
And then Saturday the 3rd at 8 p.m.
Ugh,
Rude.
buddy.
Rude.
We might have to have a pajama night in here.
Yeah, we really
A
might.
Saturday night for sure.
Saturday night, 100%.
Right.
Yep.
Let's take a look at the road trip map, see where we are. Yeah, look, you really do see that it's more than halfway. And another green there. So 4, 3, and 1, like you said.
I
Craig.
never honestly. I thought this
Unbelievable.
14-game road trip was going to be the end of this team.
I thought it was going
I
to
did.
be 2 and 12. I literally did.
We sat there and tried to pick
Well, you
wins
got
out of
the job
this.
done, though. You gotta admit.
And we tried to pick a win from this segment, and none of us said Carolina.
No, none of us.
No.
would. Nobody.
And
thought they
nobody
were
said
beating
a 4-0
Carolina.
shutout. If they were going to beat
We
Carolina,
said
it would have
maybe
been
Detroit
like,
and maybe Minnesota because they've had goaltending issues this season. We said maybe.
that's
So
unbelievable.
they're going 3-0-1 on this segment.
I mean maybe.
Playoffs.
No.
Stop it.
Yeah, stop early.
Oh,
Go
boy.
go Ducks tonight. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Oh,
the Ducks.
boy.
The Ducks are bad.
Yeah, they're really bad.
And where they're sitting at 11 points right now, like that's hard. Guys got 7 points on them.
I think it's 5, but
Well, I'm gonna
16
say
to 11.
7 anyway.
We need
but yeah, I'm always curious when a team like that gets into
Yeah,
the
it's 5.
pole position. What's the NHL feeling about that? It's not the Blackhawks. It's not an 06 team. You know,
Yeah,
do they care about the Ducks, or
I don't know.
does Uncle Gary come
SoCal.
through? You know,
Gary.
I don't know. Trevor Zegras, Troy
Get
Terry,
those
Connor
magnets
Bedard.
working.
Gary. Somebody said that the punch card pattern is broken.
know.
We thought we had it down,
I don't.
and
the
now
voodoo's
we are
over.
questioning it all. The only pattern that still stands is 3-4, either 3-4-5 up, or like 3-4, 3-4, 3-4.
Oh, we'll see.
You guys are still trying to find.
We're
meaning
trying.
in
We
the
have-
chaos of
You
the
know what,
Coyote
Craig?
season.
We're finding meaning in this season, and you know what else? We finished a row.
They have won the last game of both rows, and
Okay.
they won the third game of both rows. So we
Ah.
do
So
have
Hammer.
pattern
No,
emerges.
I'm not getting pattern, but we do have. I think the stars have distracted from the fact that there's an opportunity for bingo here, or Connect 4, excuse me.
Oh, yeah, we haven't connected 4 yet because it's too early.
Okay.
Okay, also hammer the Coyotes on their third game of this row and their last game of this row
Wow,
because
that's one's LA. Hammer LA in LA. Ooh. We'll see.
Don't take my betting advice with a grain of salt.
Kings have
Connect 4 CWP's on it.
no problem.
Man. Anywho, that's that. The Coyotes seriously feels like they've been on the road forever. But there is an opportunity to get inside the mullet this weekend. If you want to see Logan Cooley visit the Arizona State Sun Devils, he will be here Friday and Saturday. Matthew
Very
Nye's
excited
also
for that.
here, Minnesota, taking on Arizona State, and you can get tickets for that right now on the Game Time app. So be sure to download that today. Save up to 60% when you buy your tickets last minute. So the day of the game is the best time to buy your tickets. Fun thing to do with the family around Thanksgiving weekend. Again, I mentioned it. We talked to Logan Cooley yesterday. So whether on PHNX Sports, YouTube, or PHNX Coyotes, wherever you listen to your podcast, check out that interview with Logan. It was a really, really great interview. He's a funny, fun kid. We got to know him a bit better, and hopefully it won't be the last time we talk to him. It was a great interview, though. So really excited about that. But again, if you want to buy tickets to that or any other sporting event or concert or show, check out Game Time. And the best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link below in our description. Craig, I want to hand it over to you now to talk about a charitable cause that you care about a lot, and something that you wrote about today, and something that we put a video out about today. And as it is the holidays, we talk about what we're thankful for, and think about how we can give back to the community. I think that's something that comes up a lot around the holidays, and I'm going to hand it over to you to talk
Yeah,
about.
we talk a lot about
Heidi's
building
Village.
community here at PHNX Sports, but that means giving back to the community too, right? We're not looking for you to read our stuff or anything like that. We want to give back. We want to be a part of this community, contribute somehow to this community. And I think all of you know by now that animals are very near and dear to my heart. Really to all of us, to be honest. Let's be honest about that. I discovered Heidi's Village very recently. I hadn't been there before this summer. A good friend, Greg Dunaway, took me there. And, after having done work at County, which is about as dark a place as you can imagine for animals, you walk into Heidi's Village, and I made this comparison in the story. It's like going from maximum security prison to a Marriott. It's unbelievable. It's this beautiful open space, 8 different buildings for dogs and cats. They have play areas. They have a splash pad. They have enrichment activities for dogs where they do paw painting. I mean, the place is unbelievable. They have an on-site veterinary clinic. They do grooming there. They do training. It's literally what you hope would happen to homeless animals. This is the place. So we want to support it. And I'm lucky enough to work at an outlet where everybody's on board with this. Saul Bookman, Greg Esposito let me pursue this. And then Kirsten Susel, Derek Montilla, and Jacob Franklin went out and shot an unbelievable video that gives you a taste of it. And it's embedded in my story, but I know we have the video here, so I'd really like people to see this.
Hey everyone, Kirsten and Derek here to tell you about a cause that is so special to us and a place that's so near and dear to our hearts. We're out at Heidi's Village today.
Yeah, Heidi's Village is an incredible facility that helps nonprofit rescues and shelters have a place for animals to come, receive medical care, receive grooming, and receive just access to this wonderful facility unlike we've ever seen before.
100 to 200 dogs, even more cats that get to spend their time here in a very special place while they wait for their forever home. Let's check it out.
Oh no, we gotta get you out.
So these dogs actually have indoor-outdoor kennels and they can go from inside to outside. Hi, sweethearts.
They also have these wonderful play facilities outside of all of the kennels here, and
almost like a village.
almost like a village.
You're a big boy, Max.
All right, I'm taking him home, I guess. That's what's happening here.
Hi, Ace.
The ace of the staff. Hi, buddy. Oh my gosh.
You're an ace eater, huh?
Oh my gosh.
Are you the best eater they have?
Yes.
Race to give her
Yeah.
cuddles.
He's gonna give her
Oh,
whoa.
Oh my goodness.
I've never seen anything like this place. It's incredible, the medical care that they offer to these animals on top of the extraordinary facilities that they have for these animals to thrive in. Many of these dogs are available for adoption through local shelters and rescues around the valley, but Heidi's Village can still use your help to give these dogs a wonderful life right here.
Yeah, they could use treats and other items they use to enrich these dogs' lives. You can head over to heidisvillage.org/donate to check out everything that they need. Look at this.
So here's the deal with Heidi's Village. What they're doing is working with all the local shelters and rescues. A lot of those places are overflowing. I've worked at some of them. It's a really dire situation. The homeless pet population in Arizona has spiked for a number of reasons. Some of it is to do with people not spaying or neutering their animals. Some of it is abandonment. Some of it is domestic issues or economic issues. But there's a really dire need. The county facilities are overflowing. The shelters, the rescues are overflowing. So Heidi's Village allows all of these rescues to board their dogs there at a very low cost. The veterinary cost is low as well. But I want to tell you something about Virginia, or she goes by Ginny Jontis, the founder of this place. She's got a foundation that helped build this place, and it was $22 million to build this facility. But a lot of the cost for keeping this place going is coming right out of her pocket. So if you care about animals, if you want to support an unbelievable place, go to heidisvillage.org and find ways to contribute. You can obviously adopt, and these animals need homes. You can foster. You can go there and volunteer. They always need volunteers. And just as importantly, this is the reality of our society, they need money. So you can donate in a number of ways. You can become a Heidi's hero, and as Ginny says, donate $10 to $20 a month if you want to do it that way. You can donate your time. Again, you can donate supplies. There are so many ways that you can help out. but please help out because it's an incredible facility and there is an incredible need in our community.
Well said, Craig. It's very
Yeah,
true. SC said just made a donation. Thank you so much.
Thank
SC
you.
and a lot of people commenting, watching that video with their animals right next to them. All of us here, I think, rescued our animals that we have. Sean's been talking about
Yep.
rescuing a cat. So
Who rescued who?
yeah,
Go
exactly.
visit this place, people. You will be
it
blown
looks
away.
unbelievable. And with holiday season too, a lot of people like to gift animals, consider adoption rather than buying from a breeder. There's so many animals that need homes and just or also around the holidays, it's a time of giving gifts, but it should be also a time of giving back to the community. And we care a lot about animals, us four here at PHNX Coyotes and PHNX Sports as well. But specifically, we have a huge love for animals, and anybody that dedicates their lives to helping out animals is someone that we want to support. So anyway, you're able to, like all the ways Craig just mentioned, please do so and share it with your family and friends, even if it's just something that comes up at your Thanksgiving table tomorrow, and then somebody there can make it, it's a good way to spread the word and give back to the community. So I think it's a really nice thing to think about going into tomorrow and Thanksgiving, and just reflect on all the things that we're lucky enough to have in our lives and how we can give back to people and creatures that don't have it the same. So thank you everybody who's donated or considering donating in any one of those ways. And we talked about community and PHNX, and we're so grateful for this community and how involved everybody is. And if you aren't already a diehard, I highly recommend signing up to become a diehard. There's a ton of perks, including discounts in our merchandise locker, discounts on events, access to the Discord. You get to read Craig's premium content, including his mailbag that just dropped this week, but premium content weekly from all of the beats here at gophnx.com. Just a ton of perks and a lot more stuff to come by being a diehard, including a free shirt and hat every year when you sign up as well. So the
newsletter concept is really cool too.
Yeah.
You can handpick which beats you want delivered into your inbox. And I know that was really popular with my previous site. A lot of people liked the fact that the stories came right to their inbox. You can do that again now with Coyote stories or any stories, Diamondbacks, Cardinals, Suns. You can do it with everyone. So
yeah, absolutely. And as it is Black Friday on Friday, it's a great time to stock up for the holidays. If there's sports fans in your lives, it's a great gift for them. PHNX Locker on Black Friday will have up to 90% off on everything.
Yeah, we might have to buy a T-shirt for Lawson Crouse's dad. I'm just saying, because I don't think I need to see any more photos of him in spit and chiclets garb.
Yeah,
just throwing it out there.
We need to get everybody in the
Hey,
valley.
Mike, what's up?
in PHNX gear, and when you spend $75, you'll get a $15 gift card. So head on over to the PHNX Locker. You can hit the link in our description, and you can start adding stuff to your cart today, so that on Black Friday when everything goes on sale, you just click, and you're good to go. Love seeing all the diehards in the chat.
That's awesome.
It makes me so
Nice.
happy to see. Seriously, we can't thank everybody enough for your support, for being here every night in the chat. Nights like these, 4-0 shutouts, make an 82 game season.
Yeah,
a
just
little bit
routine
more-
for the Coyotes.
a little bit more bearable. So we appreciate all of you, and it makes it more fun to be on Twitter, to be in the Discord during the games, because I can't think of any other way I'd want to watch Coyotes. So any final notes?
Well,
before we head out?
just remember now, a year from now, when we're sitting here trying to go, hey, they're having another dad's trip or a mom's trip. How did they do last year? We need to remember they did
They're
pretty damn well.
1-1.
Yeah, they've got 3 out of 4 points.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So let's try to remember that next year when the dad's trip comes up. We'll remember. Well, I won't remember. You'll have to do that.
What if
'cause
there's
I'll
like a
forget.
tally for all the years?
I
Like,
wonder.
who's winning, the moms or the dads.
Oh,
across
that's
the
something
league,
we
that'd be a
could
hell of a stat.
probably-
I'd like to research
across
that.
the league, I was like,
That's a hell
the
of a stat.
Coyotes I could probably sit down and do, but the league would be tough.
The league would be tough, but
Coyotes we could do. Well, maybe we'll
anyway.
work
So
on it.
remember next year, it's with the guy 3 out of 4 points. Dads are heading home. They won't be there in Detroit. Can the Coyotes keep the streak going? And maybe by the time we get back to the land of 10,000 lakes, they'll be battling for a playoff spot. Who knows?
That's enough. That's
Just
enough.
saying.
Well, again, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts to PHNX Coyotes. Follow PHNX Sports across all social platforms. Follow us on Twitter at Sean_DePods, at Craig S. Morgan, at Leah Merrill, at S. Peters Hockey, and of course at PHNX @Coyotes. And everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful time with your family, your friends, or by yourself, however you plan to spend it. However you plan to spend it. And like I said, we'll have a special Thanksgiving episode dropping tomorrow morning. So hope you give that one a listen and enjoy your day tomorrow, whatever you do. And then we'll be back Friday for a post game after the Detroit game. So stay tuned for that. But until then, everybody, have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you on Friday.
Happy Thanksgiving.